Hello, it's Dr. Odom. Today is January 20th, and this video is primarily to show you what is in the week 3 folder. Week 3 is going to be next week. I think I've said this before, I'm trying to prepare everything and get it set up for you a week in advance, and so if you're working ahead, then you can go ahead and start doing that. And if you're looking ahead and you have questions about how things are going to work the next week, I can be prepared for that. So if you haven't checked this out yet for week 3 next week, you go into weekly assignments and there should be items or folders that explain everything you need to know for the next week and point you to some resources, etc. So this is the folder for week 3. It might be interesting to think about why I have that image that sort of represents the first part of the James Berlin reading. So in each cover page for the folders, I'll tell you what is included, the documents that are included in this folder. It's important to note I have some reading tips over the first part of Rhetoric, Poetics, and Cultures. These are not for a grade. What's graded is going to be a discussion board post over Berlin and a peer review of your synthesis paper in small groups. That's going to be due on Monday. Then your synthesis paper itself is due on Wednesday, as well as a discussion board response to the class discussion board over Berlin, not your small group discussion board. So something that's new in the week 3 folder, I'll just click on it and show you, is a video that I've actually posted from last year, but it was in the same point in the semester. I made the same comments that I wanted to make responding to your discussion board post about your, or the reading questions, sorry, that were about the Miller introduction. So as you can see, if you want to look at the synthesis assignment, if you haven't already, it's there. In this folder there are also some really helpful documents showing you what I'm looking for in the synthesis essay. This is also a screenshot or an image about Berlin, how he thinks about social epistemic rhetoric, even though he just calls it epistemic in his book. This is an early article, citation is here, and I think this was a good definition that didn't appear in the book about what he intends when he says epistemic rhetoric. This, again, is some reading tips that I made for a grade last year, but they are not for a grade this time. Let me see if that'll come up, what that looks like. There are a lot of notes overall, and then chapter by chapter, the highlights that I think you should be looking for, places to avoid because I think they're not as relevant to the topics in this class. Word is being slow opening that. Anyway, at the top of that document it does say this is for your reference, this is to help you navigate the difficult writing that Berlin gives us in his book and questions to think about, and some of those will be part of the discussion board questions. But these are not for a grade, just to make that very, very clear. Okay, I'm tired of waiting on Word to open that up, so I hope to go back to Firefox. Oh, okay. Sorry, computer slowness. Ugh. Maybe if I do this, it'll be better. Okay, back to the week 3 folder. That's Berlin 1 reading tips. This is my mini lecture responding to your Miller reading questions that I have graded now. Everyone should have a grade that turned it in. Okay, so looking ahead, you have a discussion board post on the class-wide discussion board. These are the questions that I'd ask you to respond to. You do need to include a quotation and a certain length. You can review the grading criteria for discussion board posts here. And importantly, I'd like for you to ask a question at the end of your post because you will need to respond to each other by next Wednesday, so that will help people respond in substantive ways to your post. Okay, how you're going to do peer review. You will do this in your small groups. That's the main reason why I set them up. So to start that, you will go into groups. I'm going to use group 1 as an example, but I'm going to post the same things in all of the groups in just a second. You go to your group discussion board. So these graded discussion board posts, I still need to grade those. I'm working on that today. You go down to the peer review for your synthesis paper. That's where you'll start out. And this flag post gives you the instructions for the peer review. I posted that. All right, so these are written out instructions for how to do this if you can comprehend those better. I would like for you to post your draft for someone to review it by Friday at 5, but that will be cutting it close for people who can't work over the weekend. So some of you have already been asking about it. At least one person has already posted their paper, so that's great. If you can give your peers more time, and then you can be you know, a pair of classmates, group mates that exchange their papers early, that'll make it easier. So these are the written out instructions, but I'm going to show you how this works too. So go back to the forum. Kesley has already posted her paper, which makes it easy to use it as an example. She followed the instructions. So she made a post with her name in the subject line. She's attached her paper. There are a couple different ways you can do that I explain in the written instructions. She's left a little message here. Lindsay has replied and said, Kesley, I'll review yours, so she's marking it so that other people don't just jump in there and review it without alerting their group mates. So she's planning, Lindsay is planning on posting hers once she's finished with it, and Kesley will review it, which is an awesome arrangement because you'll get a grade for having your paper peer reviewed and also a grade for reviewing someone else's paper, so that there's incentive to get both of those done. Okay, so they're having a little conversation about that. That's great. That's exemplary for everyone else. I think that's all you need to know. Again, the written out instructions for peer review are here if you learn instructions better that way, but I've just walked you through the process in the screenshot video. If you have any questions about how the class is working or you don't understand anything, please let me know. I'll respond by email, and I try to respond the same day. Over the weekend, it's probably better to reach me by phone number, and I have my phone number in the instruction screen. I might be traveling out of town this weekend, so if you're having questions while you're doing peer review or getting your synthesis paper draft ready, then don't hesitate to give me a call, because I might not be checking email as much as I would ordinarily. I think that's it. So I'm about to post this video in the weekly assignment folder for week 3, and then I'll be catching up on the grading and getting the week 4 folder ready for those of you who want to work ahead to the second half of the Berlin reading. All right, so I'll post this here. I'm also going to send you an announcement that it's ready, and then all of the week 3 content should be ready for next week. So keep doing the good work that you're doing in class, and I will talk to you later.